Hi everyone, it's Gabi from the Kia and Hyundai channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit about highway drive assist, how it works, how you can turn it on, and no, we're not using this car. But let's get into it. All right, now we're behind the wheel of our test drive car. It's the Kia Seltos today, but highway drive assist is going to be incorporated on a bunch of different Kia and Hyundai models. Now, in actual driving, what you're going to do is go to the right side, or it might be left, depending on your model, and hit your cruise control button, set your speed, and set your following distance. And if highway drive assist is turned on in your vehicle settings, turning on your cruise control is going to automatically make it highway drive assist, if that makes sense, as long as you're on a registered highway. Now, Charlotte's going to go into our vehicle settings and show you how you can find out if this is turned on. So slide over, go to setup, which is your gear icon, give it a click. Next up is vehicle, driver assistance and driving convenience, and then you can see highway drive assist is checked on. Now, depending on what type of vehicle you have, you may or may not have highway drive assist number 2, which is a completely separate video, and you're going to have to watch that one to find out what the difference is. But essentially, not only can you turn this function on, you can also turn on or off the auto speed limit change, which essentially means if you're on a highway that does have a drop or an increase of speed, your vehicle is automatically going to do that no matter the speed that you set on your steering wheel. All right, enough talking, let's get into it. We're going to hit the road and show you how it works. So we're on our city road right now, which means highway drive assist will not work, but our smart cruise control will. And something, I guess the reason why we're making this video is a lot of people confuse smart cruise control with highway drive assist. And while they are extremely similar and highway drive assist essentially just builds off of smart cruise control, they are different. So I'm going to turn on my cruise control now, and this is how it's done. You're going to press this button here, set your speed. I'm already going the speed limit, so I'm just going to leave it where it's at. And then this button is going to allow me to set my following distance. So right now it's at 3 car lengths. You can tell by the icon on our digital gauge cluster. Now essentially when this cruise control is smart, that means it uses the radar up front that I showed you earlier to keep you a safe distance from the car ahead of you all the way up to a complete halt. So if I hit stop and go traffic, whether that's in the city or on the highway, my car is going to handle that stop and go for me, which is super convenient. Now, how this changes is once I get onto the highway, my dash is going to illuminate with an HDA, which stands for Highway Drive Assist. That means my vehicle is not only going to recognize the distance between me and the car ahead of me, but also what's the speed limit of the highway that we're on. It knows all of this information based off our navigation data, and it's also going to know when there's a curve on the road ahead of us. So if there's a big bend, your car will automatically slow down regardless of the traffic situation. So this is obviously extremely helpful considering we live in Canada and sometimes we can't take a corner at full speed, especially not in an average car like this. Maybe if this was a super track car, but it's a Kia Seltos. So that is extremely helpful, and I'm going to show you what I mean in just a second when we get onto our 400 series highway. So we're just approaching our on-ramp. That's going to take us to our 400 series highway. The speed limit is 100 over here. So my vehicle is going to know that, and obviously I'm not going 100 yet, but once I hit that speed, it'll keep me nice and set there. If I were to enter a spot on the highway that was maybe 110 or even drop down to 90, my car would also know that and would let me go down to said speed. It would do it automatically, or if you shut that off, you would have to be in control of it. All right, let's make a merge. So this level of highway drive assist does not do automated lane changes. That means everything is up to you as a driver. You know, one more lane over. All right, we are now up to 100 kilometers per hour. And as you may see, our cruise control icon over here has switched over to the HDA green lettering. That means this vehicle recognizes this highway, knows when there's a curve up ahead, knows when there's a speed limit change up ahead. So it's not only going to keep me a safe distance from the car ahead of me, but it's also going to acknowledge all of those things and behave accordingly. So essentially this is smart cruise control, but even smarter.